Good morning, Oklahoma, and welcome to Cow-Calf Corner. This week's topic, one that I've received some questions on and there's been some debate on recently, involves the cattle cycle and how long can we expect these historically high, really good cattle prices to last. And so we take a little time to visit about the cattle cycle. It's something that's repeatable. It's something that happens through the course of us taking inventory of cattle on a national basis. And what the cattle cycle fundamentally tells us is that when the inventory of our nation's cow herd is low, there's fewer cows in production, serving as the initial source of the product, that being the wean calf that turns into the yearling, that turns into the finished calf, that ends up being beef. Prices for all those categories and classes of cattle are going to be higher when we're at low inventories, which we are right now. We show that our cow inventory on a national basis is about as low as it's been since the early 1960s. Now, eventually, as we move through the cycle, we have to sell fewer calves in order to pay our bills and generate revenue. It permits us to retain more heifers, eventually turn them into the next generation of the cow herd. And as we rebuild that inventory, the price per pound of calves, yearlings, and fed cattle tends to go back down. So what does this tell us about where we're at right now and how long we can expect to see sustained good prices? Well, there's several things that indicate that we're not in a process of a rebuild, and several things that work against that. And one is just the cow biology. It takes a couple years from the time we retain a heifer that she actually goes in production as a cow. Other things working against us is relatively high interest rates that we're dealing with. A lot of older producers that have liquidated cows may not plan to get back into the business anytime soon. There's little evidence of a great deal of heifer retention at this point in time. And we're dealing with still relatively low hay inventory and hay stocks on a national basis, particularly relative to parts of the country where drought persists. We have seen some relief from that drought, widespread in Oklahoma, but still a lot of the parts of the country that are suffering from drought. And so right now, the bottom line as we consider all those things, it looks good in the cow-calf sector for producers that have inventory on hand. It looks like 2024 has a high profit potential for those in the cow-calf sector, and it looks like it should be solid in terms of prices for a few years to come. How quickly we rebuild remains to be seen. I hope this helps, and as always, I appreciate you joining us this week on Cow-Calf Corner.